Maqasidic Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Maqasidic Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned, streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our series entitled the Maqasidic Tafsir. The Maqasidic Tafsir. And that just reminds me, let me put my setting together. I forgot that I made a new background for the Maqasidic Tafsir. Hold on, where is it at? Oh, wait a minute, I can't move my Zoom thing. Hold on. The Maqasidic. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, there we are. Can y'all see that now? Yeah, I made it a little darker. It's a little darker. Okay. The Maqasidic Tafsir. This is the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. For those of you who don't have this book, please go to Amazon.com. The book is only $18.90. And I'm telling you, it needs to be a part of everybody's library. This book should be a part of every Muslim's library. But to show, some of the feedback that I've received from the people about this book. Some of the people bought the book and they said, oh my God, Layla, this book is so hard to read. That's how Allah has protected and preserved this religion. Allah made it so that you cannot teach yourself Islam. You can't just pick up a book about Islam and read it and think, oh, now I understand what the Maqasidic Tafsir is. Oh, now I know the meaning of the Quran. Now I know the meaning and the history. No. Allah made it so in order to learn this religion correctly and understand it, just like Sheikh Saud was talking about in his class before this. You have to learn from the people of knowledge. You can't teach yourself Islam. You have to learn from the people of knowledge. And not that many people on this earth are people of knowledge of Islam. Just because people have the title sheikh or scholar, or because they graduated from some university with a BA or PhD, that ain't no guarantee of anything. We have to remember that Allah tells us in the Quran that understanding of this religion is a gift that comes from Him. Only Allah can give you understanding of the deen. And He says that He only gives it to a select few. Oh yeah, not everybody has understanding of this religion. So that's the way Allah preserved and protected our way of life. Islam is the religion of the world. Allah says that He will not accept any other way other than the way of Islam. If you die upon a belief system other than Islam, you have nothing coming in that grave. Okay, and Allah protected it. No one can change this religion, even though we got Muslims today trying to. Okay, no one can teach themselves the deen. They can buy all the books that I'm teaching here, but unless you have learned, how is it that I can teach this stuff? I learned this stuff from the people of knowledge. Real scholars of the ulama. Who were my teachers? Sheikh Qaradari was one. That's a real scholar. He was a scholar of the ulama Who's another one of my teachers? Umar el-Eshkar. He was a real scholar of the ulama. Who's my current teacher? He's also a scholar of the ulama. His name is Abu Atayyib. Okay, so again, guys, you have to learn from the people of knowledge. We can't sit up and teach ourselves. And like Sheikh Saud was saying, when we mention the names of the true scholars and people start slandering them, that's how you know that you don't listen to them people. You don't listen to people who slander the real scholars of the ulama. And we have a lot of Muslims today who slander the real scholars of the ulama because those real scholars are not here to defend themselves. They're not here to defend themselves. So they slander them. They speak badly about them. We're living in the days of fitan, the days which Allah has warned us of. And that's why Allah has sent the war. So, but getting back to our topic, this is the book for this class, the Maqasidic Tafsir. The book is written by my brother, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. Please make sure you guys go to Amazon and pick up this book, and you can follow us. This is volume 1 of this Maqasid series. I'm going to, inshallah, take you through all the books. It's going to take years, though. It's going to take us a whole year to get through this one. So it'll take 7. If I'm living, inshallah, if I'm living, we'll get 7 years from now. We'll get through them. But this is the first one. And let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen for tonight's lecture. Hold on for a second. Yeah, I got the PowerPoint. Hold on. You know, I'm working 2 computers. Yeah, there we go. And let me make this larger. Okay. Can you guys see that? Put this here. Today, we're going to cover pages 82 through 84 of the book. Pages 82 through 84. We're going to speak about the 13 chapters that the scholars, you know, dispute about in regards to what period, the period of their revelation. And before I go into that, let's do a quiz. The last time we met for this class, which was 2 days ago, we spoke about how in order for an interpreter of the Quran, in order for an interpreter of the Quran to give you clarification of a verse or the explanation of a verse of the Quran, he has to also know the science of differentiating between the Mekki surahs and the Madini surahs. So now, who can answer our first question tonight? What is the difference between the Mekki surahs of the Quran and the Madini surahs of the Quran? What is the difference between them? I do not want Yasmin to answer. Anyone but Yasmin. Yasmin's one my best student.
The Meccan surahs are the ones that where he was teaching Tawheed, teaching them about the religion. And the Madina surahs was they had already learned about the religion. They got it in. It's hard now. It's time for the rules and tell them what they can and cannot do.
Okay, and what else is different about them? What's the difference? When were they revealed or whatnot? What's the difference between the Mekki surahs and Madini surahs? As far as
was the beginning of Islam, and Medina period, just like she said, was when they converted. I mean, when they went to Medina. So it was 13 years in between these periods of time.
Good job, Mina. Exactly. So, as Sister Mina said and Nadia, the Mekkis are the surahs that were revealed when the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was living in Mecca. Good job, Nadia. And the Madini surahs, they're the ones that were revealed when he was in Medina. That's the first difference. That's the first difference between the two. What about this? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I'm working this PowerPoint. Next question. Why is it important for the person who is giving the explanation or clarification of the Quran? Why is it important for the interpreter to know if a surah was revealed in Mecca or Medina? Why is this important to know? What's so important about whether it was revealed in Mecca or Medina? What's the answer Amina Fresno gave y'all? Her answer was for this question. Why is it important for the interpreter to know if a surah was revealed in Mecca or if a surah was revealed in Medina? Amina gave the answer, but to the wrong question. Can anybody tell me? Why?
Because it's basically telling you the place, the time, and the circumstances of when that hadith was revealed, either in Medina or Mecca.
Yeah, and why are those two why is it important to know the circumstances behind it? Exactly. Why is it important to know if the events occurred in Medina or if the events occurred in Mecca? Why is it important? What's so different about those two periods or those two places?
One in Mecca taught them about the faith, what to believe, how to believe. And the ones in Medina gave them the rules. What to
exactly.
Do
that shows y'all don't pay attention. Y'all have a short attention span. Fresno had just given the answer, but she just answered the wrong question. Exactly. It's important to know if a surah was revealed in Mecca or Medina because it helps the interpreter to better understand if that verse of the Quran is talking about Aqidah, which is your belief system, or if that verse of the Quran is relating to the obligations or the laws or the commands of Allah. Because in the Mecca period, as we said with the first question, that those 13 years were spent developing faith, developing the people's belief in Allah. So if I'm going to read a verse, you know, that's ambiguous. Remember, we talked about how some verses of the Quran can be ambiguous, which means they can apply to different circumstances. Whereas a clear-cut verse cannot be interpreted any other way. I need to know that. Because I can say if this was Mecca, whatever this meaning is, it's tied with faith. It's tied with Iman. It's tied with belief in Allah, His angels, His books, paradise or something. It's not 9 times out of 10, it ain't connected to a law. It ain't connected to thou shalt not do something. So that's why it's important to know. So in order to be a scholar of the Quran, whereas you can reach high, give the Maqasidic meaning, the highest understanding of a verse of the Quran, so as the people can apply it to their life, you have to also have mastered the science of where that verse was revealed. Is it a Mekki verse or is it a Medina verse? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because in many of the chapters of the Quran, there are 1 or 2 verses that belong to the alternate category. In other words, there are some chapters of the Quran that may have been revealed in Mecca, but some verses in that chapter didn't manifest until Medina. Okay? And there are 13 surahs of the Quran that are called the 13 disputed chapters. Why? Because the chapter itself may have been revealed in Mecca or Medina, but it may have verses that came later when they were in the other place. And we're going to talk about what are those 13 disputed chapters of the Quran. The first one is Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha. You guys know the importance of Al-Fatiha. No prayer is accepted without it. We recite the Fatiha in every rakat of every prayer. Most likely, this is a Mekki chapter. because Allah is telling us about himself, number one, how he is the most high and all of that. And also Allah commanded it to be a part of the prayer in the first year of the revelation. So this is one of the things, even before how many times a day was sent down, Al-Fatiha, reciting it in the prayer, was sent down. So most scholars agree that this is a Mekki surah, but you may find some who want to dispute it. But the majority of the scholars will say that Surah Al-Fatiha was revealed during the period of Mecca. Okay? Also, another surah that some of the scholars differ on is Ar-Ra'd. Ar-Ra'd. This too is most likely a Mekki surah, but it has some Medina verses in it, such as verse 43. Verse 43 of this surah is a Medina verse. Verse 43 was sent down when the companions were in Medina. Also, the overall structure is similar to the Mekki chapters of the Quran. And also, it is reported to be Mekki in a hadith where Ibn Abbas and a few other companions say that it was Mekki. Then there are some other hadiths that are weak that I didn't even put here that say something different. So this is another surah. All you have to know are these are the surahs. Not, you don't have to know why, but these are the 13 surahs that are questioned. Fatiha, Surat Ar-Ra'd, and also Surat Ar-Rahman. And when you read these surahs, the English translation of meaning, you can see why they dispute about them. For example, Ar-Rahman. This is one of the most beautiful surahs of the Quran, where Allah is speaking about which of his favors would you deny. Remember, the first 13 years of the Prophet's life was spent teaching the people about Allah, his names, his attributes. So you can see why this would come into conflict with some of the scholars. This is a Mekki chapter, according to the majority, because Allah is speaking about his greatness in it. Okay? We also have some reports from the companions of the first generation and also their successors, where they say it's a Mekki surah too. Okay? So most likely, this is a Mekki chapter. And I would agree with that too. I mean, look at the words. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Teaching about Allah. But you will find some that say it's not, that it's a Madini verse. A Madini surah, rather. Other disputed surahs. Surat Asaf. Overall, this is a Medina chapter because of its structure, and also we have some hadith, but it contains some Mekki verses too. This is another example as to how Allah sent down a chapter of the Quran in Medina, but it has some Mekki verses too. Okay? And the majority of the scholars agree on this based on, like I said, some of the hadiths we have from the companions. But it does contain some Mekki verses too. So you see, these are examples of surahs that were revealed in one place, but has other verses that came from the other place in it as well. What's another one? Surat At-Tawbah. This is the one that we was learning with Dr. Asim. We never get past this with Dr. Asim. According to the majority of Quran scholars, this is a Medina surah. But Ibn Atiyah and others say that verses 1 through 13 are Meccan, were revealed during the Mekki phase. Also at Surat al-Insan, about man. Some of the scholars label this surah as Madini based on two pieces of evidence. First, the verses 8 through 10, which were revealed, which seemed to be revealed after the Battle of Badr, although the style could be Meccan. And also there's another hadith that's not authentic, which I didn't put here. I don't deal with weak and authentic stuff. But anyway, this is another surah of the Quran that is disputed in regards to its where it was revealed. Also, one of my favorite surahs, Surat al-Muttafin. Surat al-Muttafin. There's three views regarding this surah. Some say that it's the last surah revealed in Mecca, or the first surah revealed in Medina, or it was revealed when the prophet was on his way to Medina to migrate. Those are the three different opinions on this one. Ibn Atiyah argued that it was revealed in this, the last chapter revealed in Mecca. Ibn Ashur took the latter position. By content, if you read it, it contains the story of a trader who cheats the scale in dealing with buying and selling, which is the main story in this chapter, after which it is named. So that's why they dispute over it. Okay? So you got three different views on this one. Also, another surah of the Quran that's disputed about is when it was revealed is Al-Qadr. There is no definitive, I repeat, there is no definitive evidence as to where this surah was revealed. We have no concrete evidence as to whether this was revealed in Mecca or Medina. But there are hadiths from Ibn Abbas that support both categories. We got some hadiths that say that from Ibn Abbas that say mention Mecca, and some that mention Medina. Okay, so just remember with this surah, there's no definitive evidence as to which place it was revealed. Okay. Also another surah, Surat al-Bayyinah. I think that's one of Fresno's favorites. Fresno, your favorite surah, al-Bayyinah. The majority of the scholars of a tafsir argue that it's a Mekki surah. But there are some other opinions that say it's Madini, based on an authentic hadith that mentions the context of the revelation where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked to recite it before Ibn Ubay, who was known to have only met the Prophet in Medina. You guys know Ibn Ubay. Brother Mukhtar talked about Ibn Ubay. He met him in Medina. So that's why some of the scholars say that it must be a Medina surah, because the Prophet didn't know Ibn Ubay until Medina. Okay. Also, another disputed chapter is Surat al-Zalzalah, another one of my favorites. Al-Zalzalah. The majority of the companions believe that this is a Mekki surah. Ibn Abbas, Ibn Masud included. Also the ones that came after them, a lot of them believe it too. But there are some like Qatada and Ibn Atiyah. They believe it was a Madini surah based on a hadith from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, who was one of the first, original companions who quoted the last verse in a hadith. So because of that authentic hadith, from Ibn al-Qudri, Sayyid al-Qudri. Some believe that this was revealed in Medina. Okay, although Ibn Abbas and them say that it was revealed in Mecca. Also, Sabrine's favorite, Surat al-Ikhlas. Al-Ikhlas is also one of the disputed surahs. Okay, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked by either a group of the Quraysh in Mecca or a group of the Jews in Medina to describe Allah to them. So that's when Allah sent this chapter down. So they don't know if it was sent down in Mecca because of the Quraysh or in Medina because of the Jews. Okay, so this is all you really have to know. We don't have to research or do any of that. Just know, if somebody were to ask you how many chapters of the Quran are disputed in regards to whether or not they were revealed in Mecca or Medina, you can say 13. And if a person were to ask you which chapter of the Quran that there's no concrete evidence of, which one would you say? Can y'all remember? I know y'all can't in Zoom because I don't know if it's from what y'all did before Islam. Surat al-Qadr. Remember that Surat al-Qadr is the one surah that nobody knows. There's no concrete evidence. Okay, any questions? That's today's lecture for today.